Hi guys, if you're new here, my name is Becca. I'm a writer. I'm currently working on my debut literary fiction novel, which is titled Project Eden for the time being. It is what I have been pitching as a 90s East Coast autumn ghost story, and if you are not new, hello, hi, it is so good to see you again. As I was thinking through the different videos that I kind of had lined up for this month, I decided to take a poll over on my Instagram, which is at Becca Tobar Writes, whether or not people would want to see a writing vlog or one that's centered more around like refilling your creative cup and like working on preventing burnout, and kind of unsurprisingly the refilling my creative cup one. So I'm here with that video for you guys today, and I thought that it would actually be really fun to, instead of dedicating like a whole weekend day or something like that to this, I figured that it might actually be more helpful to show you guys how I tend to mitigate burnout throughout the week. I think a lot of us work 9-to-5 jobs. I work a 9-to-5 and I fit in writing and content creation kind of around that. And I thought it would be kind of interesting to show how I do it on like a weeknight, because I feel like those are the days where you feel the burnout the worst, when you have to kind of take care of yourself, when you have to take care of so much other stuff going on in your life. So what I'm going to do this afternoon is I'm going to actually show you guys my evening routine when I really need to refill my creative cup. Now, I did do my writing for today. That is something that I woke up early and did take care of. I went and wrote at a coffee shop this morning. I actually joined Mick's pop-up live stream, which was so great. So I got around 3,000 words. I didn't write all of that. I took a lot of stuff that was already from my existing draft and put it into the chapter that I'm working on now. So I kind of Frankensteined it, to be completely honest. And I just want to preface that this can look different for everyone. A lot of what I like to do to mitigate burnout and take care of myself is actually pouring a lot of time in whatever way I think is necessary. So I did my nails yesterday, which I think came out pretty cute. I did my hair this morning. Little things like that also help prevent, I think, some of the monotony that comes with having pretty regimented routines and balancing a bunch of things. So I am really excited to show you guys what I'm going to be up to this afternoon. I do still have an afternoon full of work. Obviously, I'm working from home, and I'm actually going to hop on a call with Taylor here in a little bit to do some body doubling. Also, side note, do you guys like the new wall art that we got for the room? I got really tired of seeing like my weird ass decor that we had in this room, so we like shifted some stuff around. I still need to get like a canvas for this because we want to hide that electrical panel, but for now, how do we feel? I feel like this looks a lot nicer. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Shall not judge. Shan't judge. Yeah, I see it. I got you. Tell me when you're ready.
Okay, there we go.
Hello. I played video games. We were watching Shrinking, which he has been binge watching, and I've just kind of been along for the ride, and it's been such a fun show. So I think what I'm gonna do now is take a shower, get into some comfy clothes, get into bed, and then literally just relax for the rest of the night. I have to get up early to go into the office tomorrow as well, so I really just want to make sure I'm spending as much time as I can decompressing. So let's go ahead and do that. Another check-in. I swore I was not going to do another video sitting in my bed with no makeup on, but here we are. So I just spent the last like 30 minutes working on a script for a video that I've been really excited to put out, and it's just, I've kind of been dragging my feet on it because in my head it's like quite time intensive, because I want it to be as educational and as helpful, because I've gotten a lot of questions on it. So I told myself I was finally going to do that this month. I'm slowly working on the script. There's just like a lot of things I want to touch on. So I am slowly making my way through the script. So I worked on that for like 30 minutes. I don't script all of my videos, actually none of my vlogs I script, but for sit down videos and videos where I'm going to be talking to the camera like quite a bit, I do try to put a little bit more thought and effort into those, because if it's not going to be super interesting visually, I want it to at least be super interesting when I speak. So I've just been doing that, but honestly my brain is kind of tapped because I've been doing a lot of writing and editing today. I still have not finished editing my chapter 11. For that chapter, I took a bunch of pieces from different chapters of my old draft and put them together. So right now, I think I'm about a fourth of the way through the chapter, kind of reworking that old text into the new chapter outline that I've built. So I just was like, I think kind of tapped when it came to writing. But I think what I wanted to say is that I think when it comes to quote unquote refilling your creative cup, I was rewatching my AuthorTube Cafe interview with Brielle, which if you haven't watched it, I will link it both in the comment section and in a card up here. We were talking about how we felt our most creative and most like productive when we took care of ourselves, which is why I feel like my last video and the video before that, I've done a lot of showing you guys like my routines and the ways in which I'm making time for the things that are important to me. I promise this will probably be the last one for a while, but I really just wanted to be transparent about the fact that so many of us that are working 9-to-5s and pursuing some sort of like, whether it's writing or making content, like that's the goal, it can sometimes feel really hard to make time for it. And you know, I'm very fortunate that I don't have any kids and it's just me and Edwin, so I don't have anyone relying on me other than my husband, who's pretty self-sufficient. I show sort of the more mundane parts of my life because those are also parts of me taking care of myself, and I want you guys to remember that being creatively productive, you need to be able to take care of yourself to do that. When I was thinking about putting this video together in the first place, I was thinking a lot about like, I could paint and I could go read in the park and I can go do all of these things, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of mitigating burnout is just taking small chunks of time for yourself little by little every day, because I feel like if you're just continuously neglecting yourself, that neglect compounds and it becomes infinitely more difficult to overcome the more it compounds. I was in a place, I think about maybe 2-3 years ago, where I would literally cry after work because I was just so stressed and I was so worried and anxious and nervous. And even if you look at a couple of my videos just from like last year, so much of my subject matter is regarding like my mental health, and that's where a lot of my vulnerability first came from. And I don't feel like I'm in that place at all, or at least not as much as I used to be, since I started putting more of an effort into taking care of myself. I think that is just such a huge part of like keeping your creative cup full and like making sure that you don't burn out super quickly on all of these extracurriculars that you're filling your life up with. Hopefully that made sense. So for me, planning content and videos is like fun. I try to do those things as like a creative addition to what it is I'm doing with my book, right? Like, I always try to remind myself that writing is the dream, but social media is the hobby. And so I try to keep it as fun as possible. I think I'm gonna work a little bit on my Substack, which I have neglected because it's really hard to want to write on top of writing for your book. So if there's anything specifically that you guys would like to see from me on that platform, I don't think the world needs another podcast, especially not from me. I don't even know what realistically I could even add to this space anymore. I'm really looking for ways to level up my content, because even though it is my hobby, it's something that I continuously want to improve and build and grow, and I'm always looking for feedback. This is probably going to be the last time I check in with you guys like this, so I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Honestly, guys, this was the rest of my night. I played around on my Substack. I brainstormed a couple of, I think, like post ideas. And I know that this video is short, but I do also think that it was important, and I thought about scrapping it, but I'm persevering and posting it anyway, because I think part of the writing journey and part of my identity online and sharing my writing journey is learning to show up for myself as much as I show up for my projects. And I think that I'm learning that I can't really do one without the other. I think that it also just, like, when I'm thinking about how I refill my creative well and how I navigate burnout and making sure that I can show up for my projects better for longer stretches of time, I think that it's important to remember that it could look different every single time, and that it looks different for every single person. For me, it's a cozy night in with some snacks and video games and a TV show and a cozy bed. Some other day it might be a walk in the park and reading by myself, you know, somewhere outside of the house. I think it's important to explore what works best for you and how, and understand that that is constantly going to change. But I'm really thankful for you guys for following along on this little mini series. I promise the writing vlogs are going to be making a comeback next week, and I'm so excited to jump further into Eden, my process, all of that. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!